You just made me think about when I was in the Marine Corps and I was teaching how to drive the military vehicles. My he's called a staff NCO. The person that was over us, a staff sergeant, he every time I had a question like how do you change the tire or how do you change the belt, how do you park the car, like how like the basic information. He always say, "Did you look at the manual? Did you look at the? Have you looked at the manual? How you searched? How you sat down and looked it up?" I'm like, no, like you're right here. Why can't you just tell me the information? At the time, I didn't understand what he was doing, but he was teaching me the process. And you understand the process, you're understanding how to prepare and plan accordingly in case things happen. And I respect the fact that you test everything that you're doing because one thing might be right a particular moment, but then when you getting feedback, you're able to change and adjust accordingly. How did you recognize that the feedback wasn't bad or wasn't criticism? The feedback was to help you become better.
Well, that's a great question. I think so many people think that feedback is criticism and that people are tearing them down. And that is something I struggled with very heavily up until I was 26, to be honest, so, or 25, maybe. I took everything to heart. I did a lot of self work and understanding that this is kind of a little bit of outside feedback, but just as an entrepreneur, there's people that are going to believe in you wholeheartedly, and there's people that aren't. That's just the world. There's going to be people that look at you and like, I want her to fail because they have something inside of them that they want to unleash or find out, and they're projecting it onto others. So I love the criticism, whether it's about me personally, my business, my product. I take all of that and I don't take it to heart anymore. I just leave it in the back of my mind and I'm like, okay, someone told me that the way that I reply sometimes doesn't come across as the nicest, even if I'm trying to be nice about it. Got it. Thank you for the feedback. I'll work on that with my therapist or I'll do some self work if I truly think that that happens 3 out of 3 times, then, or if 3 people give me the feedback, then I'm like, okay, I really need to work on this. But if it's just one person that I met that I didn't get good vibes from, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna like put that over here. Like maybe I'll address it, maybe not. When it comes to feedback for the box, if it's a customer at any point in their life cycle that gives me feedback, I do take that and we consolidate them all together in a list. And we're like, okay, customer X has come. We've had one feedback or one thing of feedback so far, and that was our paint lids are very hard to take off. So we sat down and we had a mastermind. And ultimately, we decided that the paint is fine. It is annoying that they're very challenging to open. But for that 2 through 6 age, you don't want your kids to have access to the paint. There's no way a 2-year-old can open it. I don't even think a 3, 4, maybe a 6-year-old would be able to open it. They're just like the little acrylic paint thing. And I was like, well, and shipping, you don't want them to open up and go all over the crafts. You don't want your kid to open it up in case it gets into their hands. So we ultimately decided to keep them because the pros of them being hard to open outweighed the cons by far. So we definitely, and we still keep it on our spreadsheet. We're like, this was our first piece of feedback. And that way, if in 4 months from now, we've had 12 people say the paint's so difficult, then we would say, okay, let's think of another solution for this. So we do kind of consolidate all that feedback and I don't take it to heart. I want to make the best product. And how do I do that? It's understanding and listening and being open to feedback.
Okay. Okay. So you just mentioned that you learned that when you was 25, 26. I'm 26 right now, and I'm learning that all feedback, all criticism isn't bad. It's just to help me get better depending on how I use it. You just used the key word that's so important. And I don't know if you picked up that you do this often, but you said and then you just bypass. You said mastermind. And earlier you mentioned that you visited 46 different countries. Just like you have to learn the language of the different countries that you're going into, in business, you have to learn the language as well. Lifetime customers, what is it called? CAC, customer acquisition cost.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And just like you have to study that language, the business world is a whole different language that you have to study as well. How did you what are your views on mentorship and getting taught how to be a better entrepreneur?
You should always have someone to bounce ideas off of. The Score is a great resource nationwide for great mentors. I found I've been very, very lucky with my Score mentors. I had a phenomenal one, Tim Bryan, when I was in Virginia Beach. He has a great incubator over there. And then in Florida, I have a great one. And being able to connect with someone that's not even been there, done that necessarily, but giving you a different perspective and having the resources. And you can find mentors. Like I call Anne Malou my mentor. I've never talked to the woman one-on-one except her replying to my Instagram comments a day in my she is my mentor because I have followed her since pre-selling Solid Core when I had my fitness studio. I was obsessed with Solid Core, but they never franchised, so that was why I didn't. And I still follow her